Welcome to the Tom Matt Show. You are walking through the front door of the refirement zone. And now, your host, Tom Matt.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show. Coming to you from our studio in Kimberly, Wisconsin, which throws me off a tiny bit because I'm so used to the Little House Lansing setup. But you know what? You got to be flexible in this life, so let's do it. We got to get some people recorded, and I have guests that are just awesome that want to come into the show. So thank you so much for listening to us, however you're picking us up on the broadcast, on the podcast, on the stream, however you do it. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Last week, Mickey Haddock was back. Been a minute since Mickey's been with us. He's a creative space. Both of these shows, these 2 weeks in a row, are kind of on the creative space. So if you're thinking about like doing some music writing or some book writing or any of that e-publishing or any of that kind of stuff, Mickey Haddock has been very influential in my career, in the media career portion of our lives. And it was a really fun time. And so he's got a great workbook, and I hope that you get an opportunity to check that out. And I'll be giving you some input on how to find him and get his classes and all that kind of stuff. Because as you enter the refirement zone, you got to have some other irons in the fire, baby. You got to do like I did. Go get certified as a trainer or do radio or do something. I mean, have something for the refirement zone. Don't just don't retire. Just go do something with your retirement and do something good. Today, going to have a fun one today, calling this one Full Spectrum Marketing, right off of the LinkedIn profile for my guest today, Aaron Baer. Baer Performance Marketing is his company. Aaron Baer grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And full disclosure, met Aaron through our children, Ashley and Matt, in Wisconsin. Really cool guy. Met his sons first, met his wife. Before I even met Aaron, I met his family. And it was like, ball players, kids are great, wife's great. It's like, I got to go meet the guy. Then I see this dude with this cast thing on his ankle, and he's like, looks like my kind of guy. One of those kind of cats who's just beating the crap out of himself all the time. Started Baer Performance Marketing in 2008. University of Wisconsin grad. We'll give it to him, you know. Big Ten, it's okay. His office is located just a few blocks from Lambeau Field. And if you haven't had a chance to go to a Packers game, you guys, I've had one opportunity. It was so awesome. You've got to do it. At least go to the tailgate. I mean, just go to the game day and just see what it's like. And I've been to all these Big Ten things, all that stuff. Yeah. He has a wife and two sons, lives in Kaukauna, Wisconsin. We know that place real well. Loves to golf, but hasn't for a year because of his Achilles tears, which he's had a couple of those, and 3 surgeries. We don't even want to go down that road. We got so much to talk to with Aaron about sports and kids and marketing and branding and all this good stuff. Let's bring him in. Let's talk to the man. He ain't got no problem talking. Welcome to the show, my new best friend, Aaron Baer. Aaron, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Okay, first segment. This is your life. Talk about the kids, your wife. You guys got a great family going on. You're all over the place, traveling everywhere with baseball. Talk about them. Brag on them. Tell their names, wife, everything. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, so I am married to my wife, Crystal, and I have 2 sons, Braxton and Beckett, 10 and 12. We are full-fledged currently in travel baseball season. Our little guy, who is friends with your grandson.
Yes.
They're 10U, but mine does club ball, which is absolutely insane. All over the Midwest, Nebraska, Indianapolis. That's where just 2 of the spots we've been the last month, which is crazy for a 10-year-old. But yeah, usually I like to go golfing with them and all that stuff. But like you said, I haven't been doing any golfing. So just traveling around and sitting in hotels, and which is fine. It's a lot of good with that as well. But yeah, I live in Kaukauna. My wife's from Kaukauna. I'm from Green Bay. But you know, like a lot of dudes, travel wherever your lady dictates. So that's how that happened. Never thought in a million years I'd live in Kaukauna. But it's a nice community, growing community. Love it. It's good. My office is actually a few blocks from Lambeau Field, so that's kind of neat. Actually, in our office building is at Taylor, and a lot of Packer players come in there because they can't buy clothes that fit them. So occasional Packer sightings, which is kind of neat. That's about it.
Your life is well, the travel ball. Let me tell you guys, this travel ball stuff is crazy. And I see this cat with this thing on his ankle, his foot, and we got to talk about that because as we're growing older adults, especially us guys, and when I was talking to your wife, Crystal, and she pointed you out and said about your injury, I said, let me guess. He's hooping. Go talk about your story with your injury a little bit, just to give guys, because you're substantially younger than I am, Aaron. But you're not to discourage or anything, but disparage you. But you're not a spring chicken either. I mean, you got growing kids, you've been married, you got a business, you're doing all this good stuff. Talk about the hooping.
Yeah. So I used to do noon ball at the Y all the time, and I'm not a small dude. I'm not a runner. I don't like treadmills. I feel like a hamster in a wheel. You know what I mean? So I always got my exercise from doing sports. So I had hip replacement surgery 8 years. What was it? 9 years ago now, almost to the day. Had a hip replacement. And ever since then, my doctor at that time was like, your basketball career is over. Like he didn't recommend it because just basketball is so much cutting and stopping and starting. Like it's tough on your joints, right?
Yep.
To replace a replacement hip is like not great, like not ideal. It typically doesn't happen, right? So ever since then, I have given up full on back and forth, full court pickup ball. And then, a little over 4 months ago, to circle back, like I've lost probably about 50 pounds almost from 2 years ago. So I was in probably the best shape I've been in my adult life last year, right? Or 4 months ago, right? So my wife and then one of my employees who plays ball all the time is like, come on back out, give it a shot. And it's a Monday morning, and for some reason I got something up my butt, and I'm like, I'm going to go play basketball at 6 a.m. on Monday, get my week started, try it different. And anyone who plays basketball knows, like, there's like in shape, and then there's basketball shape.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it felt like I was breathing through a freaking coffee straw, right? Like I couldn't catch my breath, but half hour in, and I grab a rebound, and then boom, I just dropped. And I'm like, who in the hell kicked me in my calf? Like it felt like somebody with steel toe boots just kicked me right in the back of my leg. And I just dropped. And I'm like, who did this? And then all the guys are like, nobody was near you, man. I'm like, what? And then another guy was like, I thought I heard a pop. I'm like, oh God. And then the other guys are like, yeah, your Achilles is probably gone. I'm like, are you serious? And then I felt in the back of my leg, and there was a gap. Like if anyone feels the back of their leg, it's solid, right?
Yeah.
Well, mine was empty, and then it rolled up my calf.
I'm sorry.
And I'm like,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the whole scenario here, bro. I mean, it's like, and I got to carry this thing through to break here because we're going. That story. The reason I wanted Aaron, thank you for sharing that story, by the way. Because us men, we have to understand that, you know what, his 25-year-old brain is always going to be his 25-year-old brain, just like my 25-year-old brain is always going to be my 25-year-old brain. It's the training. It's like getting talked into doing these things. I've had people try to talk me into doing the mountain biking thing. Similar thing to you doing the hooping. Come on, let's go. It'll be fun. Let's go have some fun. Sure, it will be. And yeah, then you wipe out and you throw your shoulder out or you blow up your Achilles. But Achilles injuries, and guys, I'll leave you with this, and we're going to go to break. Achilles injuries are so common with guys hooping and playing softball. You've got to be aware. Period.
Pickleball big too.
Pickleball
really
too.
big.
Full spectrum marketing. We're calling this one with my buddy Aaron Baer is our guest today. We're going to talk marketing, why you need marketing, branding, and all of his advice. Stick around for this one because it's going to be great. Then we'll talk some more youth sports because that's always fun. You're listening to The Tom Mann Show.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you, Sandy, for bringing us back in. Appreciate that. I want to thank our production staff, too, Mitch Anderson and Vanessa, doing all those good things. Now, Vanessa, I got to say something to you during the broadcast. Make sure when you're doing your marketing for us, hon, that we spell our words right. Because my guest today, marketing guy, immediately caught it. And it's like, doy. Okay, so no offense, honey. Just keep doing what you're doing. A good job. Just make sure you check the spell check. Aaron Baer's our guest today. I want to remind everybody about our segment 2 sponsor. Sponsors a couple of segments on the show, actually, because he's just such a great guy. We're talking about the selling team of Keller Williams Realty and Brock Fletcher. Brock Fletcher and Mike Dedman, those two guys, along with the rest of the team, they're just amazing people. And Brock Fletcher you guys have heard me tell this story about Brock giving me that unsolicited advice back in the day about selling Big Household, our dream home, our built-in pool, the whole thing, all my landscaping, everything we built from zero. Time to sell that house. That didn't go over very well with Sandy. But in the long run, he helped me get over the anxiety of having 3 mortgages at one time, because somehow that happened. And it was crazy, but it all worked out. So I want to thank everybody over there for what they do. Here's some numbers. The office number for Brock, the selling team, kwsellingteam.com, go there. 517-853-6408 is the office number. But here's the number you want, everybody, is Brock's cell phone number. Text him, tell him Tommy sent you, because that's how he knows radio, that kind of thing. The radio people always refer to me as Tommy. Just say, Tommy sent me. I want to get the Tommy deal. 517-303-3262. 303-3262. These are the people you can trust. When it comes to real estate, there are the 2 things that I talk about all the time: financial fitness and real estate. Okay. And branding and the marketing stuff, that's number 3. And we'll talk about that today. All of these things are vitally important for your future and your side action. Keep it in mind. Give Brock a call. Remember, you can go to our website, tommattshow.com. All of our sponsors are there. All of our friends are there at the bottom of the homepage. Click on it. Away you go. And there's over 20 episodes with Brock on there. So if you got a question on real estate stuff and it's all free, go for it. Get it going on. Okay, my guest today, Aaron Baer, Baer Performance Marketing, calling this one Full Spectrum Marketing. So I stole that title off of Aaron's LinkedIn profile. So let's define that, Aaron. Full spectrum, the marketing industry. You're a marketing guy. You went to University of Wisconsin. You own your business.
Wisconsin lacrosse.
Okay, whatever. I mean, it's
not a Badger. Close, though.
Oh, well, to me, Big Ten, I don't know how that works. I mean, it's like, but to me, the University of Wisconsin. Okay.
Yeah.
But
good enough.
Close enough. Okay, so from when you started in marketing,
mm-hmm.
And you've heard the story about how when we started our company, I got really, really lucky and I found a branding company. I told you that story 15 years ago, how much we had to pay and negotiate and all that kind of stuff, and got with somebody 15 years ago. That was really just, I basically lucked out. Take my advice, everybody. If you're going to do some side action, you want to meet with somebody like an Aaron Baer first to get a lot of things figured out. And we're going to go into all of that. But first off, let's just talk about what the heck is full spectrum marketing nowadays in the 21st century.
Well, one phrase I don't think anyone else uses it, but so let me rewind. So, but I started my career in radio as a radio sales guy, right? So I started out because I took a different approach. I mean, there's a lot of people who sell media, specifically radio, that they're just selling air, right? They're just selling commercials, right? I took more of a consultative approach, help them with their game, what's your overall game plan? What are you trying to accomplish? All that kind of stuff, right? So fast forward, I was in radio for like 5 years. And then I had numerous clients who were like, hey, can you help me with all our marketing? Because you're not just a sales guy, right? And I work for a big corporate media company in the country, and I could be 150% of my goal, and the talking heads would still want more out of me. And I'd be like, hey, like, nobody's going to motivate me more than me. I don't need some dude in Atlanta telling me that he needs more from me. Right. So finally enough was enough. And I said, see ya to corporate America. And I started my own gig with that premise of just offering a full, strategy and not just picking and choosing and throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, which happens way more than it doesn't. Right. And going back to the phrase that I say all the time is a lot of business owners start their business and they have the field of dreams approach, which is build it and they will come. Right.
Right.
That's not a strategy. Right. So what we try to do is really listen to what people are hoping to accomplish. A lot of people, especially in today's with the digital age always changing, like they hear buzzwords, like SEO or whatever, streaming or whatever the case may be. And they're like, well, I got to do that. Or social media, like, oh, I need to be on X or I need to be on Instagram or whatever. Well, no, like you don't need to be on everything. Like if you're strictly business to business, like let's concentrate on LinkedIn, right? Like if you're a business consumer primarily, you probably don't need to be on LinkedIn, right? Like there needs to be a purpose behind what you do. And that's really the core of what drives what we do, which is just offering, full scale, marketing strategy and execution. That makes sense.
Do you have businesses like mine? When I came in, my guest today, everybody, let me reset this thing real quick. Aaron Baer's with us, calling this one Full Spectrum Marketing. Aaron is the principal and owner of Baer Performance Marketing in Green Bay, De Pere, Wisconsin. Good friend of my family's and going to be a good friend of the show. You cannot do enough research with marketing with this, everybody. You've got to find people like Aaron. I mean, as I started to say, we got lucky because I went to M3 Marketing in Lansing. We've talked about that before. I've had him on the show years and years and years ago. Very, very helpful to define what the heck we're doing. If you're watching the video, you can see some of the things behind me, and the refinement zone was from the marketing company. All of our iconography, all of our colors, all of our elevator pitch and our mission statement, and all of that came in a nice book that we paid for. It was so helpful because then it defines what direction you're going to go into. And Aaron, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just knew I wanted to write some books. That was way before radio. Before radio, it was even in our heads. I just wanted to write some books and do some training. And so I knew that Sandy and I needed to have a side action game of some kind. And so that's what we did when we built Boomer Talk Media, LLC. I got 30 seconds before we go to break here. What set everybody up with a 20-second takeaway on one of the most important things people don't know about marketing.
It doesn't matter what you like or think. You need to think in terms of what your potential customers want. And that's a very common mistake. Just circle back on the radio end of things. I used to have a lot of people that come in and be like, yeah, I want to advertise on your radio station. And I'd be like, why? Well, I listen to it all the time. Well, are you the core demo of who you're trying to talk to? Well, no. Okay, well, then that doesn't make sense.
You may think you know what you want to do when it comes to this kind of stuff. And believe me, we all do. We all think we're an expert, especially when it comes to our own money. We don't know diddly crap. We'll talk about this more. Full Spectrum Marketing's today's show. Aaron Baer, this is The Tom Matt.
This segment of The Tom Matt Show is brought to you in part by The Source of Light and Power by band leader Archival and broadcaster Mitch Anderson. Hear the sound that is endorsed by Odyssey headphones, linear tube audio, RME converters, and Peluso microphones at sourceoflightandpower.bandcamp.com.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our guest today is Aaron Baer, calling us from Full Spectrum Marketing. Baer Performance Marketing is his company. I'd like to get Aaron to plug, and let people know how they can find you, get a hold of you if you need some coaching, you need some help, you need some advice. When you go to a person like an Aaron, you're going to the doctor. Go to the doctor call him the marketing doctor and let him diagnose what you need. Before you go in there and you tell the doctor, hey, I want to buy radio, just like he was just saying in that quick story, I want to go buy some radio. Go talk to the doctor of marketing first and see what he thinks and give him a couple dollars just for his time. All right. But how do people find you, bud?
Just on our website, bearpm.com, just BAER, P as in Paul, M as in Mary.com. short and sweet. I do have a story about how I came up with that name. By the way, we want to talk about that.
Go for it. No, go for it.
So after I got out of radio, I was talking to a guy who wanted me to work for him, and he didn't want to pay me as an employee. So he told me, start your own company and I'll W-9 you. Right. And he was in the exotic car business. And, I started thinking of names, whatever. And I just didn't want it to be, because Baer is obviously my last name. So I didn't want just Baer marketing, whatever. So I'm like, two things came to mind. When I was in radio, I dealt with a lot of ad agencies, and the vast majority, they're only concerned about their fees, right? Like how they can make their buck, not necessarily how they can get results for their clients, but how can they get the checks, right? So when starting my own business, I wanted the driving force to be to perform for our companies that we partner with, right? And then this first client that I had was in the high-end car, Lamborghinis, like you name it, right? So I'm like, the word performance fits for both scenarios, for the high-end car thing and just the, hey, we're going to perform for our clients. We're not just going to produce a whole bunch of fluff. And a lot of ad agencies too, they, their driving force is getting awards and being recognized. Like, I don't care. I mean, I honestly couldn't care less if anyone knows my name or my company's name, but like one of our clients, we helped them win their first, Wisconsin Manufacturer of the Year award. Nobody knew that we wrote the application and put in all the, a lot of the work and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine by us, right? Like, it's not about us. And that's, I feel, a very key differentiator with us is, and you would think it's more common, but it's not, because I've been on both sides of the desk here. A lot of agencies are driven by their own egos.
Do you see that more and more nowadays? Do you see it more? Because it seems like everything's getting more and more driven. Sports is getting driven by dollars. I mean, college sports, everything is dollar driven now, and it's instead of substance driven. Do you see that more and more nowadays?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, there's just, and this is just in life in general, a lot more entitlement out of people. A lot of people who just want to do the bare minimum but want maximum results. You know what I mean? Like, yep. Hey, I want to spend $1,000 a month, but I want $1 million a month in returns. Like, that's not how it works, right? It's like somebody going to the gym and looking at their phone while they're sitting on a machine for 5 minutes or an hour, and then, shocker, they still are fat and out of shape, right? Like, you're not putting any work in. You're not doing anything. Just because you're present doesn't mean that you're achieving anything.
Right. So just because you wrote a check to someone for a marketing ad buy doesn't mean that it's going to be actually functional. And that's the whole thing. What I'm hearing from you is a lot of these agencies, they'll be glad to take your money. They'll do what you want, but you need somebody who's going to look out for your best interest. And it's like looking at me. I'm a small business. I don't have a lot of money to be spending. I told you the quick story about M3 and how I negotiated with them. Same thing with you, I'm sure. You need to analyze and look at what's going on behind the scenes. That's what people need.
Well, and then another thing that we do that I know, I'm not aware of any other agencies that do this, but like, we don't take competitors. So
what does that mean? What do you mean?
So, for instance, this has happened numerous times over the years. So we do a good job for a manufacturer, and then other manufacturers see this manufacturer's website, their marketing, whatever the case may be. They find out because their name's usually on the bottom of the website.
Yep.
So then they'll contact us and they'll be like, oh, I saw your name on whatever website. Can you help me with our stuff? Well, then what we do, our process, is if we think there's some potential overlay or competition, what we do as a part of our process and promise to our clients is we ask our existing client, we say, hey, this business reached out. They're looking for us to help them. Do you view them as a direct competitor? Because if they are, we will say no, thank you. Right. And we've had to say no numerous times. Like existing client will be like, well, technically they are. We feel bad making you turn down business. I'm like, nope, all good. We'll do it. And we walk away. And what we find is that strengthens our partnership and our relationship so much. So even though we're, let's call it, taking a step back by denying that revenue opportunity, it always pays off in the end, long term. And it's just the way I do business. And I don't know if anyone else does it like that.
That's like the Miracle on 34th Street model, Aaron. I mean, you got the same thing, right? You're telling people, giving them straight news. You're just saying, oh, you might want to go down here. We can't do your business, but maybe you can go over here and helping people. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, just from our perspective, if you think about it, like I couldn't advertise for a manufacturer here and do the same stuff for their direct competitor. Like somebody's losing in that, right? I'm gaining because I'm just taking all their money, but like we can't be number one, both be number, you know what I mean?
Yep. It's an integrity thing. And I have a very, very good friend who I work with in Michigan. She was an assistant director of one of our departments at Michigan State. And she uses the word integrity constantly. Live in your integrity, move in your integrity. And the notes that I just wrote, listening to that story you just told, it was value add, loyalty, and partnerships. Those are the three terms that I heard you expressing to your clients. And that's very unique. And it's very, I mean, to cut yourself off from funding because you want to be loyal to your customer is very shrewd and very smart. And it shows, again, loyalty. And nowadays, right, where's the value add? Where is the value add for all of this stuff? All right, so let's set this up for the next couple of segments. Where are the important spots? We've already talked about a little bit of the setup and defining things, but then where would Aaron Baer in your first visit here, the high altitude, where are some of the things and some of the places that people should really consider when it comes to hiring you and putting their money?
Yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, as far as hiring us, easy for me to say, we're really a marketing department for hire. So we have businesses that don't have marketing staff, and then we're their marketing department, right? So there's that component. But then we also do work with companies who do have marketing staff. So we can, and then in that scenario, we fill in the gaps, right? Because rarely when you have an internal marketing department, usually you have one person that's a graphic designer, maybe one person that's on social, but then they're not good writers, or they don't know what they're doing with media buying, right? So then we just fill in the gaps and we go from there and work with them.
When we come back, we'll talk about filling in the gaps, where you want to invest your money, because it's very, very important. Everything is driven by return on investment. You want to get a good return on your investment. Full spectrum marketing with Baer Performance Marketing. Aaron Baer is with us. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Thank you again to Brock Fletcher, real estate agent at the selling team with Keller Williams Realty. For more information on services provided by Brock, please call his personal cell phone at 517-303-3262 or by emailing Brock at kwsellingteam.com. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show. I want to share some stories about our sponsor when it comes to Brock Fletcher. Now, Brock Fletcher, a couple of numbers here. This is the one I want you to really focus on. His cell phone number, 517-303-3262, in case you just joined us, kwsellingteam.com, 517-303-3262. Now, you guys have heard me tell the story. I'm going to tell it again real quickly, so please bear with me. My next door neighbor in Little House Lansing comes to me, Mike. New neighbors, we just lived there a couple of years, but I kind of become a surrogate kind of dad to the guy, and that's kind of my role in life, seems like. And comes to me and says, Tom, I need your advice. I got a job offer. I got to go. I'm going up north. I got the perfect job offer. And this was during COVID and all this stuff, everybody. So just, things were messed up. He said, I got to sell my house right away. I think I can get this number. And I said, I think your number's low, but I don't know. You need to get a hold of my boy. So I sent him over and talked to Brock. And I didn't try to convince him to hire Brock or any of that. Brock's not that kind of guy. Next thing I knew, a few days later, there's a sign in his yard from Brock. And lo and behold, a week later, they sold the house. Boom, 20 grand more in his pocket. And that is a true story. And that is a fact. That's why you want to go with Brock Fletcher, Mike Dedman, Mikey, how are you, buddy? All of those things, all of those people. Just go with their team because they are so good at what they do. Just like my guest today, Aaron Baer, Baer Performance Marketing, full spectrum marketing, kind of peeling the onion back because this is a very, very nuanced deal here, everybody. And when you're going to invest money in marketing, you may have sticker shock. I had sticker shock. Go in kind of with an idea and then go talk to people like an Aaron Baer who's going to try to make your product or your services or you better or figure out who your customer is. Okay, so on your LinkedIn profile, you talk about the full spectrum of advertising, public relations, marketing, and advertising, all of these things. Of those 3 or 4 things right there, which do you think, and it probably depends on the client, but where do you put your energy first? Do you go into an analysis? Do you go into the PR? Do you say we need to do iconography? It probably depends on where the company's at. Do they have any of that stuff established? But say you're coming in as a brand new company, what would we do first?
You got to set up your brand, right? So like even you'd be amazed. Like we've run across companies over the years that I'm like, what green are you? I don't know. We just find a green. Or like there's zero brand uniformity, nothing. So the little booklet that you talked about, that you got 15 years ago or whatever,
Yep.
Like we call that a brand standards guide, right? So within that, we will develop, these are your logos, your logo variations. These are your primary colors. These are your secondary colors. We'll put their CMYK colors in there so that there's no confusion that this is your red or your green, right? Like Kakana Baseball does not have a brand standards guide, and it drives me bonkers because depending on what sport, it could be a burnt orange or a reddish orange or a orange, and then they may or may not match. I mean, it's terrible, right? Like when a brand isn't dialed in on being uniform and consistent, it looks terrible. But I mean, that's so important. I can't stress that enough, right? And just even when it comes to embroidery, like when you're forming your brand, like some businesses don't think about all the applications of their logo, right? If you want to embroider your stuff, if you want to get branded apparel or merch, how's it going to look digitally? How's it going to look on print material? Like there's just so many things to think about on how your brand is going to be represented. And so many people don't even think about that. They're just like, oh, that looks pretty or that looks cool or whatever. But like you need it to be functional.
So let's talk about just a very, very preliminary. I'm coming in, Boomers Rock Media. We're brand new 15 years ago, coming in to see you. Help me figure some stuff out. Give me the lowdown on the sticker shock that you're going to get with numbers, because I don't think people understand how much work goes into this, the iconography, the color schemes, all of everything you just mentioned.
Right.
Ballpark numbers for value. What are people looking at cost wise?
Well, I mean,
I know that's a tough ask.
It's super tough. So like we did kind of a unique thing. We had 2 community soccer teams, youth soccer teams, that were coming together and they wanted to form one team. So we did their whole brand formation. I mean, that's coming up with their name, that's coming up with logo, so something like that is a lot higher than somebody who's just like, here's my business name. Can you give us a logo? Okay, well, that's lower end, right?
Right.
And then some businesses don't want to spend the money or feel it necessary to do the branding guide. Where you put in everything into one spot, where if I'm getting a sign made, I can just be like, here it is. And every specific with your brand is right there, right? Like that's an ideal situation, but some people don't want or don't have the money, which is fine. But in an ideal world, like you want that brand standards guide with everything uniform, your messaging, when to use the logos, how to use the logos, all that kind of stuff, right?
My advice is take what Aaron's telling you, think deep, and do this, because you are going to save yourself so much aggravation down the road and so much money down the road. You may think that the initial hit is going to be a lot. It really isn't. Because as he said, if they're going to do the whole package and bake the whole cake and go harvest the crops to make the cake, it's going to cost a little more. Okay. If you're going to bring me the cake mix and I'm going to make it for you, it's going to cost you a little less. But everybody needs to get this stuff done first. The brand standard guide is the way to go. Absolutely. You got to get that defined. I mean, could be colors, could be your elevator pitch, could be your mission statement, could be all of that. What's happening now in the world of social media? I think people think they just, let's go on Instagram. I know when people told me that I needed to go on TikTok 2 years ago, I was like, no way, I'm not doing it. Well, I was convinced that the marketing needed to happen. It's a place. We do certain things there, but every of our social media, every one I've figured out over time, each one is uniquely different. To put the same content on Facebook or Instagram is not going to work on the others. That's what I've found. What have you found?
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to what I said before is you just got to analyze, like, where is your audience, right? First and foremost. And then from there, like, more isn't always better, right?
Right.
And I will, an old analogy that probably my most influential old boss ever told me, Greg Jessen. He was actually from the UP. He was a Michigan State guy too, actually.
He must be good.
He's since passed, but he helped me in many, many, many ways. But an analogy that he always said speaks to just like frequency of advertising and marketing, right? So like if you could go to Lambeau Field, right? Let's just call it 80,000 people. If you could talk to Lambeau Field once, right? So 80,000 people once, or could I get a smaller room of 800 and speak to them 100 times? Who am I going to make a bigger impact with? Right?
Right.
The 800 more times. Right? Versus one shout at Lambeau Field, right? So that just always stuck with me as an analogy of like, that's what we want to do. And the same thing goes for social, right? Like, do you have the resources and time to do all of them, right? Once you figure out your target. If you don't, like, you're better off just picking one or two and doing them well. Right. Versus five half.
Do you guys handle all of that in-house? I mean, we got a couple seconds before we go to break here, but do you have staff that can handle that if I was to come to you and say, hey, I want you to handle all my social media, can you do that?
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
There we go. 100%. See, that's an easy answer for that. Let me reset this thing because we're going to come up on our break here, everybody. We're going to come up to the fifth segment. Stick around for this one because we're going to change gears a little bit here, go away from the marketing. We're going to talk a little bit of youth sports and kind of blend that in with some marketing. But Baer Performance Marketing, resetting all of this, full spectrum marketing. Aaron Baer is my guest today, everybody. You need to get a hold of Aaron and figure out what you are planning to do with your side action. If you're just starting the refinement zone, if you're just coming into it, if you're just thinking about it, give all of these things a thought because they're so vitally important. You're listening to The Tom Matt Show.
For more information on the Tom Matt RFZ mentality, please visit our brand new website at www.tommattshow.com. Subscribe to our podcast via your favorite podcast platform. Visit our brand new YouTube channel for consistently motivating messaging. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Sandy, for bringing us back. Again, thank you to our staff, Mitch Anderson and Vanessa, for what they do, helping bring the show to life. Because, without assistance, without people doing their jobs, I can't do what I'm good at. And I've learned a lot of different things. And believe me, I know what I'm good at. And I know definitely what I'm not good at. And one thing I'm not good at, I've gotten better at it, is understanding the marketing end of our business. It's like the marketing end of our business. Thank goodness, 15 years ago, we went to M3 Marketing. I hope you find somebody like an M3 or a Baer Performance Marketing, who we're interviewing today, Aaron Baer, talking about making these marketing decisions the right way. And go to Aaron's website, Baer Performance Marketing, Baer Performance Marketing, Baer Performance Marketing. Okay, let's shift gears here a little bit because we've kind of covered that whole thing. We know that the marketing and the setup, and we'll deep dive this more, everybody. I promise I will have Aaron back and we can do some specifics. And if you've got questions, you know how to do that. Hit me on the contact box, tommattshow.com. You can send us that there, and we will ask Aaron specific questions. I want to shift gears and go into the marketing and the wide world of youth sports, because this guy is in it deep, real deep. And I have been involved with this stuff. And now that I'm in the papa stage, the grandfather stage of being associated with all this, we basically attend things and haul kids around. We support guys like Aaron and his wife, Crystal. All right, so let's set it up. Youth sports, from a marketing aspect, what have you seen in the last, since your boys have been alive?
Oh. I've seen a lot. I mean, so one thing, like, in my opinion, it's about money and egos primarily. That not necessarily the kids, which I have a problem with. And I also think a lot of parents that I've noticed do it for them more than they do it for their kids.
Yep.
This might be a reference that nobody knows, but I personally was a big fan of Napoleon Dynamite, the movie Napoleon Dynamite. It's stupid, but it's funny in my opinion. Anyways, Uncle Rico, I don't know. Have you ever heard of Uncle Rico?
Yes.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes.
Anyways, he's an uncle that tries to relive his glory days in high school. And he's like, man, if I could go back, we would have won the state title. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And I just feel like the vast majority of these parents like never had an iota of success on their own in sports. So they just like, it's their life. Like it's their driving force in life. And I'm just like, this is insane. Like absolutely insane. And it really takes the fun out of enjoying your child, watching your kid play sports.
Yep.
Right. And then on the marketing end of things, going to the money aspect, the promo and apparel side of things, like the club that we currently and have been a part of for the last few years, they have flash sales, they call them, on apparel, like 5 times a year, 6 times a year. Like, and all these parents are crazy. So they're buying all this apparel. And I mean, they're just making bank. And I'm not mad at it. I'm a big fan of capitalism, right? But like, holy man. And then you're paying money to be on the team, but then they want you to pay extra money for lessons. And it's like, well, I'm paying all this money. Like, do I really need to pay for lessons too? Like, isn't that part of what the team fee is? You know what I mean? So it's just exhausting. And if you really look at it, it's like, especially at younger ages, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like, why? Like, what are you really gaining? And unfortunately, it took me a few years of being knee deep in it for my eyes to open. But like, now I'm like over it.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's a very good explanation here coming from a parent, a current parent going through these things. I have seen this coming for quite a while. It all started, everybody, you might remember this, but in Michigan, started a lot with the travel hockey parents. They were the first ones to, and then the soccer parents started getting involved with this. Now it's all of them. But the thing is, Aaron, that I was shocked because when Sandy and I were coaching softball, and then we coached travel softball for a couple of years with our younger one, we got a T-shirt, a visor. That's about it. You know, you paid $20 or something. I mean, Christ, sometimes we'd pay for our kids. Some of our kids had no money. And so we'd pay their fee just so they could pay because they didn't have, their parents had no money. So we did that several times. But we show up to these games years ago now, and I see these little kids, girls, were at the Harper's games, and the uniforms are like major league cut shoes. And I'm like, what happened here? And I asked Ashley, I was like, what's the deal with this team? And she says, Dad, that's a private, the travel team, and it's cost X amount of dollars a year to play on this team. And that doesn't guarantee, like you're saying, it doesn't guarantee your kid's going to play. Doesn't guarantee, you got to do the coaching. You got to do all this additional stuff. But the apparel and the promo, and I've done some videos on this too, Aaron. If you want to see some of the most decked out boys and girls when it comes to gear, go to softball and baseball games. You want to see great hats, hair, belts, glasses, gloves, sliding. I mean, Aaron, Bam Brecken, my grandson, was talking to me the other day about a sliding mitt. My response to him was, get on base.
Right.
Just get on base.
100%. It's crazy. And the thing is, like, and I didn't mention this yet. So we're a traditional marketing ad agency, but a couple of years ago, I acquired a business, and we also offer like promotional items and apparel as well. So we're in that world. We're in that game. So like we fully understand, like we can set up all the company stores and rewards and jerseys for teams and all that kind of stuff. Right. So like, I get it. Like I know exactly how much money they're making and all this kind of stuff. And I see, especially in the club end of things, like people buy so much stuff. Like it's unbelievable. Like I would love a piece of that, to be honest. Like it'd be sweet.
Well, that's a smart move on your part to have a little piece of that action so that you know where the dollars are going with this thing. I mean, it's just crazy to me because of you. Okay. You don't just have the cost of the team and the coaching and the special lessons, but then bake in all your travel costs, bake in all of the time. I mean, you're on the road. You just said earlier in the show, a couple times where you been this year?
This year, but like in the last 3 weeks, I've been to Omaha, Nebraska, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Milwaukee. And in 2 weeks, we go to Iowa. And they were already in Iowa.
If you're not watching the video, you need to go watch the video because when you see Aaron's face, he looks tired.
And that's for 10 years old, which is the craziest part. 10.
Yeah.
For 10-year-olds.
Well, you know what Tom Izzo says, legendary basketball coach. Everybody knows Tom Izzo, basketball coach of Michigan State. Tom Izzo has always said, and I am absolutely 100% behind him in this one, and my thoughts as coaching and a trainer as well, that you need to be a multi-sport athlete. When you're that young, you need to be playing all of these sports and have fun and make friends and develop the social. See, what's happened now, what I think has been happening is the social end of it for the parents has become more relevant than the social end of it, the skill end of it for the kids. And the kids, the game is supposed to be about the kids, not the parents and their social hangout. But I see that happening. Do you?
100%. 100%, right? Like it's either the Uncle Rico parents, I call them, or like, and I'll be honest, like that was a very tough decision for us. Because when we initially moved our kids to club ball, it was hard because all our friends and all our kids' friends and everything are still at the hometown sports teams, right?
Yep.
Granted, we found new teams and, became friends with some of them. Some of them you didn't click with. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, right? But like my 10-year-old's team right now, at the club team, like we love that parent group, like love them, like good friends. And that's going to be tough to walk away from that. But we also know the parent group in Kaukauna, we have a lot of friends that we enjoy hanging out with too. But there is definitely that thought process of like, I like hanging out with them. Like, so let's keep doing it. So you got to really be self-aware to, okay, what's the focus here?
Right.
It's the kid.
What's the
us.
purpose? What's the purpose? Let's get a takeaway. I need a minute takeaway on the purpose of marketing. Give me a quick takeaway, and then I'll have you back, and we'll close this bad boy.
Well, here's one thing we tell everyone. You need people to know you before they need you, right? And that's where frequency and consistency come into play. A lot of people, like I said earlier, like to throw stuff at the wall. Let's try this for 3 months. Let's try this for a couple months. Well, that doesn't work, right? The goal for long-term success is to have people know you before they need you. And that's where having a strategic plan in place and carrying through with it and not pulling the ripcord and jumping out too early, that's the way you're going to get to where you want to be.
Awesome. Baer Performance Marketing. Google Baer, B-A-E-R, Performance Marketing. Get some good input from Aaron. Before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Like to close the show, every show, with that one. Thank you to Aaron Baer for being with us. Sandy, Brock, Craig, all of our people. Of course, we'd like to say you've been listening to the production of Boomers Rock Media. This has been the Tom Matt Show. But thank you again to our production staff of Mitch Anderson and Vanessa and Aaron Baer for being with us. Thank you so much, everyone. If you missed any portion of the show, go to TomMattShow.com. We are out.
The Tom Matt Show is produced by Mitch Anderson of Black Circle Studios. Original music from the Source of Light and Power by the Ark of All.